Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sorry, I'm not there.
No, that doesn't have anything to do with me. As long as you're here on the call, that's all I give a fuck about.
No, okay.
It's you that has to be slightly uncomfortable doing this in your car instead of at your computer.
Oh, I'll just have to listen. I can't really look at the phone.
Excellent. It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, welcome to Game Central Junction, everyone. As always, I'm your host, The Metal, and joining me remotely from his car is our good old friend and my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. How you doing today?
Great. Made some good progress at work. It just went a little too long.
Progress is usually good. I'm not going to say always, but
Yeah.
more often than not, it's good.
Yeah. And I'll tell you a super secret thing. I'm not supposed to tell anyone, but nobody knows where I work. So yeah, a good
and
friend
nobody
of
watches
mine.
our show, so
That's right. So nobody's thinking I know even work anymore. Yeah, a good friend of mine from work, not someone who's currently working in my office, but someone who's working in the headquarters office, might be picked for a new position in my office.
Oh, okay.
He might, and well, I don't know. I think it's a prelude to having him replace my boss, but we'll see.
Well, knowing
You shall
who he'll be replacing, I mean, you could probably throw a dart into a crowd and find somebody who would do a better job.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's funny because I was originally one of 3 candidates for that position.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago. But honestly, I would not have any resentment if they hired someone else from inside the company to replace him. I wouldn't care. I'd be very happy if this guy took that job or got that job eventually. So we'll see. See what happens. But he told me in confidence, so don't tell anyone.
I will keep it between you, me, and the on average 20 to 50 people that'll catch the VOD later.
Cool. That should be fun. Plus, I didn't give you his name, so yeah. Flip's going to be on the phone. If my boss
immediately
telling him all about it.
Yeah. Somehow he'll know.
Yeah. Oh, I'm in the wrong lane.
Watch what you're doing.
Yeah. I'm not going to pay attention. I'm paying attention to the show. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, game news. What's going on?
Game news. I was up until almost 7 o'clock this morning because there was the Mario Kart Direct. Happened today.
I missed that.
Yeah.
So
we found out in a 20-minute presentation. I don't remember exactly how long it was. Marginally more information than we already knew about Mario Kart World. Like they took a long time to say a bunch of stuff that you could have gleaned from what we had already seen, in more detail.
Well, that's a shame. I'm excited about the game.
I am too.
I'll probably get it. Probably get it with the Switch since it'll be $30 off that way.
Yeah, well, you better make sure because apparently one of the things I have pulled up, they are going to discontinue that bundle this fall. So you have all summer to get it, but, people who come late, they'll have to find some other bundle or whatever and pay full price for Mario Kart, a game that they think is worth as much as they think it's worth.
Yeah. Well, did it seem from the direct that, this is definitely an $80 game?
I could see it being $80 if the physical goes for retail. I would tell people, I don't care how much you like physical, it's not worth the $10 extra. It looks like exactly an $80 game.
So did they say they were going to sell it for $90 for the physical?
I haven't actually seen an official price tag. That's just been a rumor going around, so I'm not even going to perpetuate it. I'm just saying, if that does end up being the case, just get it digital. Yeah. It could be actually a $90 game after we finally sit down and get our hands on it. But from what I've seen, it only looks like an $80 game.
Yeah. Well, I'm torn because originally, I was kind of like, what's the big deal? $80. It's
Yeah.
still cheaper than games were 30 years ago or whatever. But like then I saw some people make indecent points that like, well, that is true about inflation, but I tell you, people's income has not gone up that much. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it was. I think I was saying this the first time we were talking about the difference between games back and then. I'm like, yeah, but even though an $80 game for the SNES era is effectively worth more with inflation than
Hmm.
an $80 game now, your dollar also went a lot farther in proportion to your total income back then too. Like the
Yeah,
economy overall was just better back at that time.
yeah. I started to look into some of that stuff, and I was like, it's my imagination that like it was way easier. Like I bought a house back in 2003, I think 2003, something like that,
Yeah.
and it's not seemed like a big. I mean, obviously it was a big expense, this house,
Yeah,
but
yeah. But it was also before the
not nearly.
2008 market crash too. So
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
but that was the real estate market crash. So like prices went down, didn't they? And they've gone
It,
way up since then.
it was like really weird. So technically like prices went down, but also being able to get mortgages and loans were affected by that. So it's like
Uh,
if you had enough money to just afford a house, it was better for you.
yeah, and I was lucky enough that my second house, which was probably big enough for life, uh, I bought in 2007 or six or
Yeah.
seven. Yeah. But then I had to sell it for unfortunate reasons. But yeah, because we're looking for a house, and it's just the only way to get one that's reasonably affordable is to be an hour away from work, which is an hour for
Yeah.
everything. So, 'I'd love to live in Gilbert. Holy crap, it's so nice there. But I'd have to spend $1 million.
You
Maybe
would.
eight hundred
Yeah.
thousand at least to get a reasonable house. It's crazy.
The problem
Oh
with full areas like that too is like you can't buy a lot because all lots are already covered. You just have to buy a house.
yeah, yeah. If you want to build around here, you'd have to build where we're already looking in
Yeah.
Queen Creek or Sandtown or something. So I'm lost, by the way. But
You're lost.
eventually,
I thought that's what you were
somehow.
watching this morning. No, you're watching Walking Dead. That's right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No, I took a wrong turn, I think, and at an airport somehow, a small airport. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. But enough about the economy, which is probably the biggest factor on whether people think a game is worth $80 or not.
Yeah.
I would say that this game is probably worth what it looks like. Just looking at it and looking
Yeah.
at the trend of the cost of games and everything, it does give you more than like any other Mario Kart game has ever given you. Probably more than any individual Mario game has ever given you, if I'm going to be honest. There are some things that I'm not so happy about, and they're kind of like minor nitpicky things that I don't think devalues the game. It's just like, why did you choose to do it this way? Like, for starter, we were wondering if you had to drive to every course in between races in a Grand Prix.
Oh yeah.
And it's looking like that is the case. They did not mention if there would be any like classic GP mode where you and your friends specifically or playing with people online could just like hop between the races. I imagine that will probably be patched in later because a lot of people are going to demand it after the game comes out. That's probably going to be a month 6 patch or something to the game.
So is it kind of like a playable loading screen? It's just really, really long. I mean,
Sort of. It's kind of just like not a
does that add
loading screen.
anything?
It's just you have to drive. Now, all of the GPs are already close to each other. They're like regions, right? So each region is a Grand Prix, but still, it's like You spend the next half minute of your life driving from this track to the next one.
Oh.
So there isn't loading
Yeah.
screens. Like that's almost like a replacement to even having loading screens in the first place.
Right. Huh.
Which is cool, I
That's weird.
guess, as they're all close to each other. The issue is when you play online, historically, you could kind of almost make your own GPs, right? Like you could pick and choose. People selected their tracks, and sometimes you'd have like a spinner that would pick between them. So if multiple people picked the same track, it would increase the odds that you'd be going to that track, which is why everybody hates Rainbow Road. Not because Rainbow Road is Rainbow Road, but because half of the people online wanted to bring people to Rainbow Road to suffer, and you'd always end up going to Rainbow Road.
Right.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like that can be a case, though, because you'd have to like drive all over the map to be able to go to different tracks in different Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that
So
will
could you-
probably be like patched in eventually. I do.
Well, like, so could you take a wrong turn and end up at a completely different race?
I guess. I mean, all of the Grand Prix
Race
are
stop?
basically one road, sort of. Like there's like it's like a highway, and the tracks are along a highway. So as long as you just stay on the highway between the tracks, you will end up where you're supposed to be going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I imagine in that mode, there's got to be barriers. There's got to be,
Oh, probably. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Like what? Like what? Why is this guy so far behind? Oh, he's over on like the other side of the world. He went the wrong way.
Yeah, we're
He's
like
on a different
waiting.
track.
There's like a timer counting down for you to get to the track. It's
Yeah.
like normally you never even see the timer. They give you 5 minutes, but this guy just completely went off into a field, and he's gonna miss the race and just be disqualified.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, what happens if you headed the right way, but like just really slow? Is there? Did they say there's a 5 minute?
No, they didn't say
limit?
anything. They just said you have to drive between the. They didn't give us any details as what they mean to drive between the races. Whether there's like a timer, so for online play, it's a reasonable amount of time. Think about it. If you couldn't get DQ'd from having a timer, some like jerk, I guess, could just like sit there at the last track, not moving, and hold up everything. Like the race can't even start. And you drive in, right? Like it's a rolling start race from a side road. So I don't know if there's a barrier that stops you from driving in before the race starts, or if after the last lap finishes, where the last place comes in, the race technically already started and it starts as soon as you get there, right? Which, if that's the case, what's the difference from that being a Grand Prix or a run?
Yeah, I don't know. And like, so it's a rolling start. So if you lose time in between, I guess you lose time overall.
Well, I think
Or
there
game
has to
time.
be something stopping you. Because it did look like maybe they were just showing off the first track in the race, but from the very first video trailer that they showed off in the first direct, that everybody was still lined up like carts ready to race on the side road, and then came into a rolling start onto the track. So I don't know how it's going to go. They didn't give us these details. They just said you're going to be driving between the races.
Yeah. Well, who would want to just be racing in a racing game when you can drive aimlessly in between each race? I wonder if that's something you can. Well, you mentioned that. It didn't seem like they were going to turn that off until a patch later on, maybe.
Yeah, out of popular demand, I would think. Yeah. Because they, like I said, they spent 20 minutes giving us marginally more details than the 2.5-minute trailer gave us before.
Yeah. Oh, they do like to cater to casuals, that's for sure.
Yeah. So the thing is too, you think with the knockout race, which is kind of like a run, right? Is catering more to hardcore players than it is to casuals. So maybe they're just going to treat the mode as like, you're just going to have to do whatever the knockout tour is.
Yeah. Well, I will have to watch that later.
Yeah. They showed off some of the characters, but most of the characters they detailed, the new ones, were characters that we already saw before. No, hey, Fizjozo. There was like, they showed off the cow. Its name is literally just Cow.
Okay.
Goomba, you know. Oh, actually, I don't remember seeing Spike. He might have been in the trailer and I missed him before, but they did show off Spike, the big clubba guy who throws the spiked balls.
Okay.
So it's, a bunch of miscellaneous Mario characters are there.
Are they going to have like unique powers? Like,
I doubt it.
I think Spike could throw spike balls at people, but then they'd probably have to. It would get into like a balancing issue, like in what do you call it, Smash Brothers.
Yeah. Well, I think the balance reasons are also why they took away the parts. It's something people have been complaining since they introduced it in. Was 7 the first one to have card parts?
Feel like it was.
Might have been.
Or you could swap out.
Yeah.
Kinds of things.
It was kind of around that time. But ever since they introduced it, people have been complaining because the differentials between all of the different parts, which also means you have to unlock them all to even be on a fair playing field, really just push towards a meta, right? So it's like these 4 characters with these specific carts are just way better than everybody else in the game. Yeah. And they're like, okay, we're taking that out. Full, just complete carts with the characters. So the variance is really just going to probably be character weight and the cart you put them on again, like it used to be.
Right. Yeah, and then it just comes down to play style, really.
Yeah, and they turned Rob into a bike. So instead of being a playable character, Rob is just a bike that you can ride.
Rob the robot?
Yeah, Rob the robot from plug him in and he does the gyro things. Or yeah, he's a bike.
Yeah. I had one back in 1985.
I never had one. I think my cousin did. I touched one.
Well, they discontinued it in like a year or less.
Yeah.
Less than 8. So, you could get a used one, but
my cousin got all that stuff. That's how I used the Virtual Boy. The Virtual Boy is how my cousin had it.
I don't think I've ever even touched or maybe even seen one in person.
I played the tennis game, Virtual Boy Tennis, which I'm glad that, and I think there was like a Wario game because I played 2 games. But the reason everybody talks about Virtual Boy Tennis is because it's like the least bad Virtual Boy game.
Is it actual like VR or are you?
Yeah, you're basically playing Pong, right? And you kind of like are the character, and it's just you're moving side to side to catch this ball in like the first person perspective. It's like the least bad Virtual Boy game.
That's like what it was supposed to be. I mean, you would think that all the games would be first person.
Instead, they're just like this red and black isolation tank. That's pretty much all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that you can't really go. It doesn't even strap onto you, so it's just like, okay, this guy's gonna fucking Jesus Christ.
They're like a tripod on the table, and you just have to like stand there with your eyes all beady into it, and you have like a controller, and technically your controller could be down here because it was wired, it was separate from the thing. But the fact that you're up here, you're kind of like holding your controller like this anyway. It's almost like an impulse.
Yeah, it didn't even have like a strap to go around your head. Keep it on your face.
You just have to hold it there. You have good posture and just keep it in that spot.
How would you hold it? Don't you have to use both hands on the controller?
No. I mean like your head. You just have to hold your head in place.
Yes.
And just like have perfect posture, never move.
I would think it would be
about
like
it for their eyes. I think it was worse for your neck than anything.
I know, right? I think you'd be pushing it forward like every time you touch it, so you'd have to like keep pulling it back towards you.
See, my cousin was smart. He had the table or whatever it was on up against a wall.
Oh yeah.
So you couldn't push it forward. It was like there was literally a wall on the other side.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worst thing they ever made, honestly, by far.
I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah. Even worse than the Power Glove.
Yeah. At least that people figured out how to like reprogram to like do stuff. That's interesting. I don't think anybody's repurposed a virtual
Yeah.
toy.
So one of my other minor complaints, being a tangent, talking about all the characters they added, it looks like similar to previous Mario Kart games when characters had like different versions of themselves, kind of almost taking from a Mario Kart Tour aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Though I guess unlike how they handled the Koopalings and Shy Guys and Yoshis, where all the color swaps were one panel, it looks like all the characters' costumes are their own slot. They had like 13 dots at the bottom of the character select screen, and that probably wasn't even the total. You know, like they could probably add more. And it's like that is a horrible way to do a character select screen because you're going to take forever to find anything you're looking for. Like any costume should just be like you select the character and now you can a separate drop down comes to pick their costumes or something. Similar to how like selecting Yoshi colors were in 8 Deluxe.
So wait, I'm confused. So you choose, and it's going to show like 10 different Yoshis and then 10 different Marios, and then.
Well, that's how it worked in the previous game. Like you would choose Yoshi and then it would have like an extra pop-up menu that had squares for each Yoshi. The Koopalings were that way too. In this one, it just looks like it's all one big menu, and if you scroll, eventually you get to like, oh, there's the desert kind of like Arabic versions of like Peach and Daisy and stuff, where there's the beach versions of them, and there's this version. It's like it looks like it's all just one big menu you scroll through, and you'll eventually find what you're looking for.
Oh, that's awful. Why is that all their go-to thing? Like, you know, they could have made Tears of the Kingdom a little easier if you could like categorize your stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, so you didn't have to
filter
scroll
out. I
just
want to see swords right now. You know.
Yeah, I just want to see, you know,
where
ingredients or yeah. I want to attach a fish to my sword or whatever.
Yeah.
Where are my apples at? All right. Well,
yeah.
Did it say was that the final interface or?
I have no clue. It didn't have a warning at the bottom, really, that I noticed. It might have had a pop up for a brief moment at the beginning and I missed it. I'm sure all of this could change. Like I said, I'm 70% positive that there will be a patch maybe 6 months in where they will add like a traditional GP mode where you don't have to drive to anything so that you could pick different races for your friends. If people demand things and it's reasonable, they will put it in. They've done that in games before.
It's possible that right from the start you'll be able to turn that off if you want. Maybe.
Yeah. So like, if people complain, especially if people complain now before the game comes out and they have time to like make some minor changes or like a day one patch, then they'll be like, oh yeah, maybe we'll put a toggle in there so that you can collapse. What's it called? Costumes or whatever, copies of characters into a single icon.
Yeah.
They added that for Smash Brothers, actually. You're like halfway through Ultimate, where characters that are considered like clones of each other, you could actually have them collapse into a singular icon as like a toggle in the menu. Yeah.
Oh.
But it wasn't based on the game. Like people asked for it and they added it later.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I never played Smash Brothers. It's a fighting game. I don't like fighting games.
Oh, well, you don't tell other like players of other fighting games that, because according to them, Smash Brothers is just a party game.
Okay.
Yeah. That's actually a big point of contention.
I know.
The FGC going all the way back to mostly Melee is when it came up because nobody cared before Melee. But yeah.
Well, is this a racing game?
It's an arcade racer, which even people in other racers have no problem calling it an arcade racer because there's really two categories. There's arcade racing and there's simulation racing, right?
Right.
And Mario is like the most cartoony arcade racer. It's like the far end of the spectrum, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but it's still a racing game.
Yeah. I guess you've been able to like turn off power ups, right? Like because
Oh
I
yeah,
know for like esports and stuff, they like to turn off power ups because it's so random and impossible to predict.
yeah. And a lot of people, especially like casual people, don't realize how big of a difference power ups make and actual
Oh,
mechanical skill in Mario Kart matters. I remember one time, Buck and I were just hanging out. We were having a conversation about Mario Kart, and he used to not drift ever in the game.
oh,
Before this conversation, he's like, "Yeah, I just play heavy characters," which you'd think he would want to drift even more because if you're playing a small
yeah.
character, then having higher handling means you wouldn't have to drift. But he's like, "Yeah, I just don't need it," you know. So I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna prove to you that you need it." We hopped into Mario Kart, and I turned all of the items off. And at a certain point, I lapped him, and he's like, "Okay."
Yeah. Oh, when I learned how to drift, I mean, it wasn't right away, but I don't remember. Might have been in seven or yeah. I think I'm sure I started doing it in seven.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a whole new world. I was like, oh my god, you can go so much faster. This is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. You can
Like
like
it's so much
indefinitely
of a big
keep
difference.
top speed, which makes heavier
Yeah,
characters even better because they have a good top speed, but poor
yeah,
acceleration. So it's just like I could just get to max acceleration right away.
yeah. But you can even like boost past the
Yeah,
top speed, but the non drifting top speed.
yeah, yeah. So you get to top speed immediately, and then if you start doing other techniques like snaking, which is like back to back drifting, which
Hmm.
has been patched out, but there
Yeah.
are things like snaking that's still in there. I can't remember. Is it fire hopping or something with the word fire was like the replacement to snaking that people figured out. But you could basically
Oh yeah.
not only keep max speed the whole time, but basically boost every second or other second if you're just like going
Yeah.
back and forth.
Well, I wonder. I mean, I guess that is that more effective because I know that if you just drift continuously after a certain period of time, the sparks turn to a different color and you get an even better boost. But I guess that still didn't compete against the
Oh no, see if you
boost topping.
the thing is if you can go back and forth like that, you never technically leave your drift. So when you're doing that, you
Oh,
still get that maximum boost.
oh, oh wow.
That,
Yeah, I
that is
never
part
quite
of the technique.
mastered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got that much into it. But I did play against like online people who would just like leave me in the dust, and I'm like, how the hell? How are they going so fast?
Well, they added a new technique in this game. You
Okay.
can now just drift straight, sort of. If you hop into, like, hold the drift / hop button and you just don't turn, you go straight, you'll actually charge up a boost for, like, a boost jump, which is how you do some of the tricks and stuff in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is, you could also, like, hop onto rails to do some rail riding. You can hop onto walls to wall ride for a while. You can't do it indefinitely, but I'm sure there will be people who learn maximum wall ride time by mixing in boosts and stuff like that. Like the techs are going to get crazy in this game really fast, and because it's an open world game, people are going to find all kinds of just like crazy routing for different
Yeah,
courses and stuff.
shortcuts all over. Yeah. Well, that was always kind of a thing that
Yeah.
I thought was really cool. Like, if you didn't know the best shortcuts, obviously you're kind of at a disadvantage, but there are always these like bizarre, just kind of off-road paths.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh wow, if you go there, you save like 5 seconds. It's crazy.
My favorite shortcut was in Mario Kart 7, which I believe was patched out of online because they had to have been. And so it's like specifically the online version of that course just did not activate it anymore. And it was I think it was one of the two loops. It might have been Maka Wahoo. I think it was Maka Woohoo. And as you're going down, it's like at the start of the second leg, there is a pond that you could just after you cross the finish line, you back up off of a cliffside, right, and fall down. But because you're already started at the second leg and just the weird way it interacts, when the Lakitu brings you up, you are at the cross line for the final leg. You just skip the entire second leg of the track.
Hmm.
And if you
Yeah,
didn't
that
know
sounds like
that
a
and you played
glitch.
online, you'd be like, why did everybody just jump in front of me so quick?
Yeah. They've always been. It's interesting the way they, at least in the past, have sort of figured out where you are
Yeah.
on track, and then yeah, there are these specific hard lines where if you pass it and then do a weird glitch thing, you suddenly are half a lap ahead or whatever.
Yeah.
There are whole videos, YouTube videos about that, how these glitches are found.
I
It's
will be
weird.
confident saying this, that it will be the most patched Nintendo game throughout its lifetime. I think right now, technically, Animal Crossing New Horizons is the most patched Nintendo game,
Hmm.
barely beating out Smash Brothers. If not, it is Smash Brothers, and they're about the same. But I guarantee you this will be the most patched Nintendo game, because it feels like they're setting this up to be a game that is going to last you the life cycle of the Switch 2. Like, this is going to be the only Mario Kart game
Yeah.
you're going to play. They might trickle out DLC throughout it, but they'll have events and other things similar, like the Splatfests. Whereas, like, this is
Hmm.
just going to be your life cycle of the system game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Mario Kart 8 was the life cycle of two systems.
Yeah, yeah. They kind of like
Mhm.
let it
Yeah.
ride and die for a while. They're like, out of nowhere, hey, we're gonna start putting a bunch of DLC from prior games. Which, if you pay attention, pretty much the amount of time that they didn't update Mario Kart 8 was the time that Mario Kart Tour ran. So they were like just putting all their resources into making way more money off of that because of how ridiculously priced everything was.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to have a Splatoon 4 for the Switch 2?
Oh yeah, probably. I don't think it's going to be soon, but I don't think it's going to be distant, right? Like, it's
It's been a
probably,
while. So
yeah. I would probably
could be.
guess maybe year 3 if I were just to put any random guess down. Probably the 3rd year of the Switch. I would guess there's a Splatoon, but it might be the 2nd year, for all we know. You know?
Yeah, I guess I depend. Well, there's no
Yeah.
way to know because they're
Yeah, I'm
probably
just
working on
guessing
it
year
right now.
3 because
Yeah.
we already have some announcements for thing that will be next year, and that's such a big game that if
Yeah.
you wanted to hype the next year, I feel like you would have already hinted at it.
Yeah. Did they announce? Oh, I was thinking. I was thinking the other day that they had announced something Zelda, but I couldn't remember what. And then I realized it was it Wind Waker? Oh yeah,
Well,
well
Wind
no, Wind
Waker
Waker is
is
going to
in
be
the
in the
GameCube.
right.
Yeah.
Maybe I was dreaming that they announced a new Zelda game. I don't
Well, I
know.
do have a Zelda announcement that I was going to get to after we were done with Mario Kart. Not that I think there's that much more to talk about Mario Kart. We've already been talking about it for, let's see, I'm going to say probably 20 minutes.
No.
We've probably talked about it about the length of the Direct at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think if there was anything particularly important. Oh, they all but confirmed, is what some people are saying. I think they actually confirmed it, that Rainbow Road is in the game.
Of course.
Yeah. The reason people are saying all
Yeah.
but confirmed is the language. It's like, yeah, but he was just using playful language, and the visual pretty much confirmed that it is. Rainbow Road,
Yeah.
after you beat all of the Grand Prix, you go back to like Peach's castle in the center, and it showed a rainbow shooting up into the sky. So that's probably
Oh yeah.
that's probably how you're gonna get there. You're gonna literally take a rainbow pathway to the Rainbow Road track.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like from the first, I think, trailer.
Yeah.
It indicated some sort of way to get out into space. Yeah. Cool. I hate that. I hate Rainbow Road.
Yeah. I love
It's
Rainbow
gotta have
Road, depending on which one we're talking about, right? The original Rainbow Road can suck a fat chode, like the one from Super Circuit.
Yeah.
Not Super Circuit. The one from the original Super Mario Kart. That one sucks. Super Circuit's actually not that bad. The Game Boy Advance one. The 64 one's probably the best one because it's got railings. There's only like one, maybe two spots. One in particular where there's like a dip that if you were to boost off the top before you go into the valley, you can fly off the edge of Rainbow Road. But like you'd have to be trying. or
Yeah.
like somebody's playing Bowser or Wario and they're heavy and they're ramming into you while you're getting your boost or something. Like it's really hard to fall off a Rainbow Road in that one. But
Yeah.
the Mario Kart, I think it's 8, maybe. The one with the planets, which was either 7 or 8, I can't remember. But one of the most recent Rainbow Roads, that one can also suck a fat dick.
Planets.
Yeah, it's like there's like a moon or whatever. Like you're going around. There's like asteroids. They're not like full planets, but there's like small bodies. It was like a Mario Galaxy kind of Rainbow Road.
Yeah. So you remember that. I feel like that was maybe 7.
Yeah. I mean, parts of that are
8?
fun when you're not on the Rainbow Road. When you're actually like on the planetary bodies, but the road itself is just as bad as like the original Rainbow Road.
Yeah, that had to be 7 because I remember the 8. The 8 had 2 of them, didn't it? Didn't have like an old school blocky
8,
one.
I think, eventually added all the Rainbow Roads, but at launch, it's like I think they had the original one from Super Mario Kart, and they had
the new one, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
But of course the one that was like the original, quote unquote, they added like where it would like when thwomps would come down, like a big wave would come towards you, which was cool because you could like jump off each wave and get a boost. But I do remember I remember the 8, sort of the new Rainbow Road was not terrible. I mean, I'd still fall off all the time, but
I barely played that one, but it's probably superior to the 7 one.
yeah, if you don't like the planet ones, I'm almost certain that was in Mario Kart 7 or Wii. It might have been in Mario Kart Wii. I forgot about that.
Maybe
Because Wii, that must have been number 6.
I didn't play the Wii one that much. Mostly like the Wii tracks I ended up playing like when they were reintroduced in 7 and 8 later.
Okay, so maybe it was that one.
Mostly,
because I played the crap out of that. I played that and 7.
Well, I had like I played a lot of 7. I played more DS than Wii. I played the shit out of DS. I was a bane to people in DS.
Yeah. I had the steering wheel even. It was a piece of plastic that you just stick the. So yeah, now I'm thinking about it. I bet you the planets one with the Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah, to go with Galaxy, that would make sense.
Yeah,
I had, especially I think it was Coconut Mall. Maybe I had like PTSD when it comes to Coconut Mall.
Yeah.
Because I was at church camp for the summer, and there was like this whole competition going on the entire like week or so that we were there. And one of them, out of nowhere, they're like, hey, we got a Wii, so tonight's competition is video games. And most of it was like games nobody had played because they were brand new games, and we've been in church camp all week. And Mario Kart Wii was one of them. And my team was like, hey, you're good at video games, right? You go and play. So I played using the Wiimote control for the first time. Never even touched it before. It was the first time I ever played the game. And I was kicking everyone's ass in that game because I've just played a fuck ton of Mario Kart, and it was really easy to adapt to it. And I was so far ahead of everybody until the very end at the mall where, do you know how there's like the Miis that drive back and forth?
Oh, yes.
Right? And you have to get through it?
Yes.
So
the end. Yeah.
I had already done 2 laps, and I kind of thought I understood how the Miis work. And like, okay, well, it's going that direction, so it's not going to come back until it's finished going the full length of whatever it drives. And it's like, no. It's like half a second after I went through, it just turned and crashed me into the wall, and I just put my controller down. I was still ahead. I think the only thing that passed me was a single computer. I could have beat all the other humans playing it. But like, I was just so pissed from that moment that I put the controller down, walked away, and we came in 12th place. And I just I didn't play Wii because of it. Like that one just really salty moment.
Well, it's not very good sportsmanship.
No, it wasn't. But also, to be fair, I mean, it was me to my team, which we ultimately won the whole competition in the end of the camp anyway. Like, I think they're fine, especially with how much I carried the Iron Man competition at the end, doing like half of the physical activities we needed to do. But I was already tilted from like I think the previous night's activities where you had to like do a genre kind of like sing-off thing, and it was just like everybody to sing Jesus Loves Me in some different type of genre, and you pulled yours out of the hat, right? And I was given cheerleading, and I killed it. I turned it into a cheer. I did movements. I didn't use the microphone. I just projected with my voice, and they robbed me of it. Even people from other teams were like, "You got robbed." But yeah. It was a good week overall, though.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, Mario Kart.
Yeah. Anyway.
There was just not much to talk about other than missions. There are going to be missions like quests in the world that you can do because it's an open world game, as people probably expected. The music sounds great during the direct. The whole time you were hearing basic like remixes, not just from Mario Kart, but mostly from other Mario related games that you'd recognize. I heard a remix of Bomb on Battlefield at one point. I heard the Yoshi Story main theme, not the title theme, but like the main or overworld theme. You know, the ba da 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 ba da ba ba da ba. So I just heard all kinds of themes that I recognize. I was like, okay, the music is going to be slamming. That's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we learned. And I guess how Yoshi's pit stop works, it's like Yoshi's got like a diner, a gas station, fill-up station type thing. And you can drive in and actually pick up an item type thing from it, like a meal. So Yoshi is a pit stop for everybody. I guess even Yoshi Racing. I'm going to go to my own pit stop. Hopefully I get the owner discount. And yeah, that's Mario Kart. Get your bundle before the fall, or you don't get it at all. Not the game, I mean the bundle, because it'll be gone. Get the digital. Don't. The problem is like Nintendo's just not making it worth getting physical games anyway, even if they're close to the same price. Unless you really, really like something and you want to own it physically. But you know these games are going to be patched so much that having a physical copy is not going to be like amount to anything. Unless they do the same thing with the original Switch, and I assume they would. I don't know why they wouldn't. Where you can get your patches from other Switches and not have to go online. Like somebody else already downloaded the patch, you can patch it too. I think that's one of the coolest things that the Switch has the ability to do. I've never used it because I've never needed to. But if, I don't know, you're on a road trip with somebody and they let you borrow a game in your Switch and you're like, but I need the patches. You're like, cool, I'm driving. Just get the patch out of my Switch. That's an option. That's totally a thing you can do. You think your audio's out? Okay, well, if you've been trying to respond to me, I haven't heard you, so your audio probably is out. Oh, I can see the can you hear me? No, cannot hear you at all. I've been squeezed.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
That was weird. I guess because I got on the Wi-Fi. So. Of course.
It does that.
Discord. Oh, turn off your microphone. Because... Anyway, I don't know what I responded, but I'm sure it was profound. But I heard you.
Yeah. Okay. So. There was some disappointing Zelda news that just occurred. So Tears of the Kingdom will not support cloud save transfers.
What?
So if you want to play the game on the Switch 2, you'll be starting over from scratch.
What?
That's what it said.
Well, can you transfer your save game directly from your Switch?
Maybe like if you transfer a user over or something. I don't know how that's going to work. Possible.
I mean, I'm going to be transferring everything over. That's weird.
But yeah, it specifically says that it does not support cloud saves for Tears of the Kingdom.
Cloud saves or cloud save transfers?
Cloud saves in general.
Huh.
So like you cannot download a save file off the cloud.
But you can for Breath of the Wild?
Breath of the Wild also does not support cloud saves on the Switch 2.
Oh. Heck. All right.
That's what it says on their official page, apparently. Yeah, so neither of the Zelda games, you cannot that's how a cloud transfer works, right? If you can't upload it or download it either way, it's like, well, there's no transfer. Yeah, you cannot download a cloud save.
But I would imagine that if you're at least this is how it's always worked. Well, I'll say this is how it works when you like when you buy the OLED Switch.
Mm-hmm.
You essentially transfer everything locally. I thought, or maybe it's through the Nintendo servers, but
also those are the same
your local save game.
Those are the same system, though, right? So it's like if you transfer DS to DS, you can't, or transfer 3DS to 3DS, but there's no generational transfer, so we don't know if that's going to that would be a new announcement if Nintendo does a generational transfer for the first time.
But you could transfer from your DS to your 3DS.
There's nothing to transfer from the DS to the 3DS.
Like save games?
No, because your save game was on the cartridge in the DS.
I don't know.
Your save is entirely just on the cartridge on the original DS. There's nothing inside your DS itself to transfer.
I remember there being a transfer.
Now, if you had the DSi, which had an operating system,
that's what I'm talking about. The DSi to the 3DS.
Yeah, but that is for because DSi introduced the Virtual Console to it. That's so you could transfer your Virtual Console games. Yeah, that is the only, I guess, generational transfer they ever did.
Okay.
But that's the only time. So we don't. They haven't announced if you can transfer Switch to Switch 2 yet. I'm assuming you'll be able to. They just have not announced this.
Well, you can transfer your games at least. I mean, I thought they made it pretty clear that you could transfer even like your digital games from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2.
Did they even say that? Like, I just assumed you're going to have to re-download it off the eShop.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that is a difference. I don't know. It's a good question.
The only thing they've said is that they share the same eShop, and that all those like eShop games will work if they're compatible with the Switch, too. So, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about an actual console transfer yet.
See, here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
You know how on the Switch you have one main console,
yes,
and if you buy a second one, it's a secondary console.
Yes.
The question is, can you have one main Switch 1 console and one main Switch 2 console? I wouldn't think so.
They haven't gone into detail about that, and so I don't know either way. The only precedent I have to go off of is if they do things like their competition. The problem is Nintendo often doesn't do things like their competition, right? So like that's not even a good precedent. But the way Sony does it is that PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, even when they share games, are considered different consoles. So you can't have one main of each. So we'll see if Nintendo decides to do it that way or not. I personally have just not seen any information going either way.
But I mean, if that were the case, you could basically essentially double your digital library, because all of a sudden you could like keep your stuff on the old Switch and hand it off to your friend, and now they have all the games that you bought. I wouldn't think they would do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because normally if you have a first and a second, you can't play the same game on both at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. So, in fact,
I don't
you
know.
can't even play like online at the same time. Like if you're
Yeah,
off, you want to play an offline game, even, or like no, you're online and you want to play an offline game, but somebody else is using your user somewhere else, you will get kicked out of your
hmm
offline game because it showed your user up twice. If you want to
yeah,
play an offline game while somebody else plays another offline game on your user, you have to go into airplane mode first, so
Mm.
it doesn't kick you out.
Yeah. I remember because when I got the replacement for the Switch that was stolen,
Yeah.
I didn't realize this, and every time I logged in as, um, it was my secondary console, and it would always like go and check online,
Yeah.
see if my first one was being used. It never was, which was odd. I imagine whoever stole it probably wiped it or whatever. But yeah, when I realized that, I was like, oh, I want to make this my primary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a lot of
Which at
unanswered
least as long as
questions.
you have access, like physically access to whatever console you want to currently use, you can switch your primary like every 6 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But that is a good question. Like
Yeah. They have not
I
addressed this
guess,
in any form so far.
yeah. Like, do you basically have to re-download everything
Yeah.
and none of your save games? Well, I guess save games that you have cloud saves
Yeah.
would come across. But you're saying the Zelda games,
Yeah.
you
And
can't.
you couldn't even say
Do they?
transfer the SD card unless you're already using an Express SD in your Switch.
Which it doesn't support that.
Yeah, exactly. So you won't be able to
So
do
no.
physical transfer either way.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But see, that's the thing is, um, what do you call it? In the past, like I remember when I
Mhm.
went from the DSi to the 3DS, it transferred everything, but I feel like it did kind of go through the Nintendo servers.
So my
So
guess, because
I
it's
don't
just
know.
how Nintendo has done things in the past, because Animal Crossing, with how weird the island works for the system itself, right? Because your user doesn't have an island, your system has an island that can support up to 8 people on it. So you can have up to 8 users on it, and whoever is the first one to open Animal Crossing is the island rep. But you can have your user on somebody else's island if you're also on their system. Because of how weird that works, they actually created a separate island transfer tool for Animal Crossing to where if you boot that up, you can transfer your island over to another system. I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo had a free to download that should just be on the system at launch, but knowing Nintendo, they'll just put it in the eShop tool for transferring stuff from the Switch to the Switch tool, too. Because that's how Nintendo almost always does things, because they're weird.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah, they're weird. So we'll find out.
Yeah. Fizz has a question. He says, this may sound random, but is it possible to make money on 3D art? I mean, yeah, absolutely. If your 3D art's good and people want to pay for it. Especially if you're being commissioned for something that will actually use the 3D art in something. Absolutely. Lots of money.
Yeah.
Lots of people every day make money off of making 3D art. Most of them in the video game industry, some of them in Hollywood. But on a lower scale, independently, yeah, you can still find that too.
I'm sure some people do.
A lot of them do it just making porn.
Yeah,
But
there you go.
that's just Fizz would love to do that. I wouldn't recommend him do it either. But hey, you know what? There's a lot of money in making porn, so I don't blame the people who do that.
Yeah,
They make more money than I do.
yeah, there you go. Just make a 3D sexy anime chick and
Yeah. But I do think
Make
you
her
could
naked.
probably make a lot off of 3D art without having to go to porn. It's just that's where the most money is going to be.
It doesn't have to be full on. Like
Yeah.
you could do a sexy, fully clothed
But
character.
you could say that for like any industry though. It's like, yeah, you can make money off of this not doing porn, but if you want to make the most money,
Yeah.
which actually had a
Anyway.
little anecdote about that. Not actually porn, but very lewd, very risque. The creator of, or like the founder of Shift Up, creator of Goddess of Victory, Nikke, and Stellar Blade, has now joined the top 50 richest people in South Korea
Wow.
for putting sexy women in video games.
I'm surprised that's a recent event. Like, so it's been out for how long? 1 year?
Yeah, and I think Nikke just hit its 2-year anniversary like a couple or a few months back. So whenever Cinderella dropped. It was definitely during the time that we were living together already. So it wasn't that long ago. But it's like it's been running for 2 years. Stellar Blade is gotta be almost like a year old. I don't know, but yeah, he's a top 50 richest people in Korea.
I don't doubt it. What else is going on?
Let's see. Done with Mario Kart. Done with cloud saves.
Yeah.
Oh, so remember how Niantic just got, like bought out and integrated recently, right?
Yeah.
Well, they just laid off 68 employees.
Out of how many?
Probably not a lot. I don't imagine Niantic is that big of a company.
Yeah.
Trying to see if it has a total.
I would imagine that anyone that's been with them, kind of at least from the beginning of Pokemon Go, must be really, really rich. Because, like, yeah, they must make a ton of money, and they don't have a lot of developers. They don't have like 2,000 developers, so employees. So it's like, I would imagine they all get paid well.
You would hope.
I would hope.
But they're even talking about how they're going to be focusing on delivering the promise of geospatial AI. So I don't really have a lot of confidence in that company in the future. I don't even know what geospatial AI is without getting like a description of it. I'm assuming it's going to be using AI to fill in landscapes that use like GPS tracking in the way that they do things with their games.
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty open-ended phrase.
Yeah.
There's a million different things you could do with geo tracking and geospatial data. I'm sure AI could do a million more things with it. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's actually because the company split into two companies. So there's the normal Niantic and there's Niantic Spatial, which is the one that's doing this geospatial AI. And Niantic Spatial, though, is where the 68 layoffs have been. So they split in half and then already got rid of, I guess, most of the people in that split.
They split in half. And then, like, did each half get rid of a bunch of people?
No, this is just at Spatial. So it seems the people at the regular Niantic, as far as we know, are still fine. We don't have any numbers on if they laid off anyone. But we do have numbers thanks to the California, like, worker adjustment and retraining notification. They're warned, which is something that has to be published thanks to California laws, that 68 people were let off there. And this is just, it's been going on for years now, the whole video game industry layoff. Any time that you get basically bought out, like you sell your company, you're going to see layoffs, because for the most part, you're selling your company because you have to cover something.
I mean, like debt?
Maybe.
Or even you have to cover something.
A debt is the first thing that comes to my mind when you have to cover it.
Okay. Or, I mean, you could be making a ton of profit from it, but
Yeah.
regardless, I would think the purchasing company wants to be like, okay, how can we maximize our returns on this investment? And a lot of times there will be some redundancy, because they'll be like, well, no, we can cover that. Like maybe it was HR people, right? Because they're like, oh, we've already got our HR department, so.
Yeah, and some of them could be like network admins, but it's like, we're just gonna move everything on our network now, or just anything.
Yeah. Interesting. That's a shame, because I mean, from what I could tell, Niantic seemed to be a great company. I've never heard a bad thing about them.
Other than, when they ruined the models in Pokemon Go.
Did they do that though?
Yeah, that was them.
Oh, I thought they just like handled the geospatial stuff.
No, they also handle development of the games that they work on.
Let's see. I didn't have a problem with the models. They seemed fine to me.
A lot of people did, though apparently not enough to actually stop people from playing the game, just enough to have them bitch about it, because they made basically just as much money after the models were changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because at the end of the day, nobody actually really pays attention to their character model. They'll bitch about it, but like you're paying attention to the Pokemon, so as long as they haven't changed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, okay then. Have you? Oh, go ahead.
What were you gonna say? Just.
I was gonna change the subject.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna do too. So if you have a subject, go for it.
I was just saying I was listening to some commentators talk about this Reddit post from a Marathon developer of a new game called Marathon, who apparently had worked on Concord and was quite proud of that fact. Apparently, a Marathon developer posted on Reddit, not like defending the game per se, or because I guess there's been some bad press about Marathon that didn't look that great. The reason apparently is because it's a bunch of developers from Concord.
Oh,
but basically saying, appealing to emotions, saying, there are real people, and I hope that doesn't go the way of Concord, because there's real people affected. And pretty much all the commentary has been, well, those real people make some shit games, and probably.
Oh yeah, Marathon. I didn't even know it was from the same people, but I thought Marathon looked like shit from what little I saw of it anyway. So it's not
now you know why.
It's like, hey, you know what? Where the industry needs layoffs, that department.
Yeah. Well, how did they get jobs like for Bungie? Those individual people need to be blacklisted. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They can't just keep moving around and making more shit games at more studios.
Oh, but they will.
Get rid of them.
That's the sad part, is that they will.
They'll never learn. Oh well.
It seems like people don't learn. Oddly enough, they think like, oh well, it's because they're just not ready for it. We try again next year, they'll be ready for it. And it's just like, no, It's not that nobody's ready for it, it's that your idea is shit.
Yeah, and the quality of the games are terrible.
It's not even that like you couldn't sell this game to somebody, or like the idea of the game to somebody. It's just like, not only is the quality going to have to be lower than it already is, you have to cut back on the expenses because the amount of people that want to buy this is just a handful, right? It's like you'd have to sell it at a price where 1,000 people buying it is a profit, which means you're probably going to have to make a much like lower resolution and lower quality game in general.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's a Marathon is a multiplayer extraction shooter.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, I mean, that genre appeals mostly to men. They're not going to buy games with a bunch of androgynous blobs.
Is that?
It's just like,
I saw a clip of Asmund saying that exact same thing without the context. Is that what he was saying it about?
probably. I don't know. I was watching Hero Hey, and I think somebody else, but I'm sure he said the same thing.
Yeah, but it is true. Like, there are women who like shooters, but it's a very, very small proportion of the people who actively play shooting games. And the ones that most women tend to prefer to play now are like the hero shooters because of the characters, not even necessarily because of the mechanics of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you actually go into like an extraction shooter or an arena shooter or something, the amount of women playing it drops even further.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, women don't want to play games with ugly women in them either.
No, they don't.
So
when you look at like the revealed preference studies, women tend to pick sexy women characters more often than men do.
Yeah, and then of course cosplayers want to play as sexy women. Want to cosplay as. So anyway,
this shows wants to know, would men buy a game with crazy looking monsters as the protagonist? I mean, sure, it just depends on the game. Like, if the game looks fun, absolutely.
I mean, some of the, like, how crazy we're talking about, because like World of Warcraft, you can play as kind of a crazy looking monster.
Or it's like, well, you look at the like the 4v1 games, right? Which Evolve could have been a good game if Evolve was actually a good game. Like, the idea was good, some of the early stuff was good, but Evolve was just done horribly. But in that one, it's like 4 hunters versus a giant monster, and somebody's playing the giant monster. You also have like the Predator games, right? Or like Alien versus Predator has a video game where you actually play as the Predator, and that's a crazy monster. Yeah, I mean, people would. It's just the game itself has to have fun mechanics, which is what you really need to understand about most games, is that it's all about the mechanics and the target audience. Even games that don't look like they have that fun mechanics, it's because they're targeting a casual audience that just kind of wants a game to play itself. So you have to think about, like, what type of game am I making and who do I want to buy it?
Yeah. You can't make a game that clearly doesn't appeal to your demographic and then shame them into buying it.
Yeah. Like, in the opposite direction, or maybe the same direction, you'll just never be able to get, like, I don't know, majority of women to want to buy Gex the Gecko. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, the type of platforming, even if you modernized it to keep the same, isn't the type of platforming that typically attracts women. The type of humor that he has won't typically necessarily attract most women. You'll probably still get some. I know girls who like Gex the Gecko, but it's not going to be a really big audience. But on the other side, most guys that I know that have played Gex the Gecko and like games from that time period loved Gex. Right, so it's all about who the target audience is.
Exactly. On the other end of the spectrum, swimsuit skins are coming to Marvel Rivals.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to say, Psylocke in a swimsuit, from what I'm seeing in this article, is
any of those characters. They made them all fine.
It's fire, yeah. It's like, man, this company knows how to sell video games.
And they are single-handedly holding up Marvel right now.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like, this keeps happening. Like, you know, obviously the comic book side of Marvel has just been floundering for years, but like, then they release these movies and make billions of dollars, and then release a pretty awesome game not made in America that's making millions of dollars.
Well, I wish it was anything other than a hero shooter, to be honest, because I just don't find hero shooters fun. That's not my type of game. And I like shooters in general, but not these hero shooters. And
is that what Marvel Rivals is?
Yeah, it's like an Overwatch style game. You know, it's a hero shooter. Because they really understand the characters. Their interactions, the lines they have with each other. You're like, yes, that is something the character... They'll make deep cuts to comics nobody's ever read. And I don't know if the developers were fans beforehand or if they just understood their job. Like, they understood the task and went and started researching everything that they were supposed to be, like, crafting around, which wouldn't be that hard. It's all publicly available. Anybody can find anything they need to make realistic depictions of Marvel characters. But yeah, they're doing their job. It's like, man, if there was like a single player or even just like a co-op multiplayer mode where it was like a dungeon crawler instead of a hero shooter, I would totally be down for that. But I don't like Overwatch or games like Overwatch. I didn't like TF2 either. I played it for like a couple years or so with friends earlier on, and some friends occasionally would rope me back in and I would go back to my pyro antics, but I don't really like TF2. It's a good game. It's just not my game.
Yeah, it's like, who runs this, like, Marvel? It's so strange that they have this division, the supposedly sort of main division, the comics.
Yeah.
Consistently loses money and makes horrible products, but then they subsidize it with ridiculously successful stuff. They know they have popular characters.
Oh yeah.
If they would just do popular things with them, and they do, without seemingly, without apology, and then use that to subsidize the shitty stuff. Like, why did it's so weird?
You know why
like,
I think they do
this?
it without apology? Is because I think they do it without intention, right? Like, I don't think the people running this have any clue what they're doing. So sometimes they just make something that's good. Or allow something that's good to be made. And then they don't understand why people like that and not the other things. I earnestly believe that is what's going on.
I guess so. Yeah, you could be right. They're just kind of stumbling into success somehow.
Yeah, because crazy. A lot of them, it's so ran by committee at this point, right? That all they can do is see a formula, and they don't understand why the formula worked before. They're just like, well, we're still doing the formula. We're just putting some other things into the slots, right? Like, the constants are still there, but the variables are different. And it's like, well, why don't people like this movie? It's following the same formula that we did in this popular movie. It's like, well, it's because of the pieces that you're plugging into it suck.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You want to hear something else crazy? Actually, might be the first good idea this development team has had, but I don't really have confidence that they're going to pull it off well. And where the heck did I put it? Did I accidentally close the tab?
Uh-oh.
Oh, I have to go through my history. I was so ready to talk about something, and I think I might have accidentally closed. Here we go. So, Diablo 4 is doing its first ever collab. Do you want to take a guess what they're collabing with?
I think I saw this. What was it? Um, Shoot, saw this earlier. Don't tell me. Diablo 4. I can't remember. Marvel?
Berserk.
Oh, yes. I never would have thought that. Yeah.
Yeah, which, you know, they're
That's
both
pretty
dark
cool.
fantasies, so it's very fitting, right? Especially with demons and stuff like that. Like, it's a really good idea to do a collab with Berserk. Do I trust the modern Diablo team to do something good at all? Maybe by accident, but not on purpose.
Yeah. So how's this going to work?
There's not a lot of details yet, just that it's on the roadmap for 2025. They have seasons 9 and 10 teasers have already like confirmed what's going to be happening in it. And season 8 will be revamping their boss ladder system and a bunch of other things. Bringing back some bosses with fun mechanics that people like from previous games, like from Diablo 3. I don't know if many people like Diablo 3, but some of the bosses probably had fun mechanics in that one. I don't remember. The game was pretty awful. But on the map is Berserk, with the Diablo 4 X Berserk crossover. And apparently they released a cinematic teaser on their Twitter. I have not seen it, but we don't really have any more information about that, other than it looks vaguely promising.
Okay. Diablo 4 Berserk. Interesting. Ooh, sorry. So I guess they're adding characters and stuff from. Yeah, it's not the series that I was expecting a crossover.
But it does make sense though, like thematically. If you know about Berserk, it's like yeah, it makes sense with the type of world that Diablo is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. It's going to be like a patch where they
do Berserk stuff, I guess.
Okay.
We don't, like I said, we don't
I
have
don't know.
details yet. Maybe they'll make like some of Guts' equipment available. Maybe some of the other characters. I don't know if they'll actually be playable or anything. If there'll be like a seasonal class that's available. That's basically like whatever, you know, Guts is. Guts is basically like a Dread Knight type character. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know what they'll do. Maybe they'll have some Berserk enemies in there. Maybe like a boss to fight. Who knows? But it seems more promising than anything else they're doing at the moment.
Yeah, I guess it's weird because like I don't think about the online play, but I guess it's like a season thing where you're adding content for like what is it, season 8 or something that's gonna be Berserk stuff.
Yeah, they have the roadmap for 8, 9, and 10, basically. Which I don't blame Diablo for doing seasonal content, because Diablo was like the first game to ever do seasonal content back in Diablo 2.
See, I never played that. I only ever played the single player.
I played multiplayer, but it was mostly LAN, so I'd never really engaged with the seasonal content either.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't play the. I also played LAN. I just meant the story, this sort of out of the box story mode. It seems like it's become a different genre, a different game. I don't know. It's not the same as it was in Diablo 2 days.
It's not. Even playing Diablo 2's remaster is not the same as it was playing in the Diablo 2 days. So it's like, especially what they did to the Amazon.
It's become like it's almost like a gacha game, but like it's like just grinding all day, every day. You know, you have to make it your your career.
Well, it's okay. They do
almost.
have their gacha game covered too. It's confirmed that Berserk is also going to Immortal.
Yeah. I saw that. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever they gotta do.
I mean, to be fair though, that part, the grinding all day, has been around for a while. if you've been engaging with the online content. But that's another reason
Yeah.
why I've never really wanted to get into the seasonal content. Like, why do I want to grind this dungeon for like 100 hours? That's not what I want to do.
Yeah. I don't know.
Let's see, Fishios has a question. He says, is there a rendering software on par with late aughts games graphics? He wants to put out stuff faster. His computer can run many games from the late aughts and early 2010s like OG Mass Effect, XCOM, and Dishonored, no problem. Well, so the thing is, it's not about the rendering software, really. It's about what resolution and fidelity that you're rendering at. Like, you can always just reduce the polygons and stuff. Like, at the end of the day, people would probably still be saying Blender, you know? Make your models in Blender. If you want something from that time period, you could literally just go get a copy of the original Unreal Engine, or even like Unreal 2. You could get either of those, and after you made your low poly models in Blender, you could just like use that as like a camera field to record whatever you're doing in.
So did you hear that somebody leaked the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remastered images?
Yes, I did. Actually, the remaster was one of the things I was going to pull up for us to talk about. And it does not look good.
Did you see how he got it?
No, I didn't see how he got it.
The guy that leaked it. They had a website that was just unsecured WordPress, and he looked at the folder, or he looked at the URL for another image on the site, and there was just like a I don't know if it's media or it was clearly in a content folder, and he just took off the end of the name of the image and just brought up the name of the directory, and it just had everything.
Now, why would they do that? Why would they structure it like that?
It was some I mean, it's not like that out of the box anymore. It was like an unpatched, older version of WordPress that hadn't had some stupid web master, like, never updated it, never put any kind of security. So yeah,
like, he just opened up a laptop he hasn't used in years. It's like, I think I will make the website for this thing now.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably had already downloaded some old version of WordPress that's super obsolete. I don't know. It's hilarious. I'm surprised that only one person figured out, like, oh, what are the other images in this directory, and I can get to them. Oh yeah, look at that. It's like all these promotional images for Oblivion remastered, and apparently it's dropping next week. You think it looks bad?
Well, okay. So it looks better than Oblivion did in many ways.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look as good as Skyblivion, where there's a person modding basically all of Oblivion into Skyrim, and you even take shots of the same places because they have some, and the official one just looks so washed and desaturated, and it looks bland compared to what modders are doing, and even compared to the original game.
Why don't they make vibrant worlds? Like, there's an image of looks like some sort of monster girl or elf looking chick, and in the original, I see like a side by side. In the original, she has green hair and she's wearing this green outfit, and then in the remake, it's all brown.
Yeah,
brown from head to toe.
It's like the grass is withered.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but her outfit and her hair is all brown.
No, I'm saying because she had green hair, so it's like the grass is withered.
Oh.
Like even her,
oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes. And like this image of like the landscape where it shows like green grass and green trees, and it's like the new one, brown.
Fizz wants to know, are they going to make the combat less clunky? The leveling system makes the combat very awkward. I hope not. I want it to be exactly the way I remembered it from when I played Oblivion the last time. I just want it to look better. That's all I want from a remaster. I want it to play basically the same, but look better.
I will say the sky and the water looks a lot better. It's actually more colorful. It's more blue.
The only thing I would want, which I can let modders do this anyway, because modders are better at it, is for them to like add things that they took out of Morrowind, like character feats and stuff. But I really don't need Bethesda to do that. All I need them to do is make the groundwork. At this point, I don't require them to make a good game because I don't trust them to make a good game. They just need to leave like a playing field that the modders can do things in.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's some of the like flaming areas look pretty good.
Oh yeah, like past the Oblivion gates.
Yeah, there is going to be a deluxe edition, of course.
I'll pick it up like 4 years after it comes out, where I could get it for at least half off, if not a quarter off.
Mm-hmm. Well, like,
and then I'll mod the shit out of it, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I like the way they did the Wizardry remake in that you can choose the original gameplay. You can get rid of all of the quality of life, or you can pick and choose. You can choose some quality of life stuff changes, or choose exactly the original.
You should see the gameplay in Daphne.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me just finish what I was going to say. You can even have like an overlay. I don't know if you can get rid of the new graphics, but basically you can have the original, like, 2D lines from the original 1980 game or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What's Daphne like?
Okay, so Wizardry Variants Daphne it's a gacha game, but it's one where like I don't see them making a lot of money off of this gacha game. Probably enough to continue, but I don't see them making a lot because you don't keep your characters really, right? And that's not what you're really pulling for anyway. But like your characters will die in you because it's a wizardry game. You expect your characters are going to die, but it's basically the classic wizardry style of combat, like where you're going through the halls, square by square. You go into an encounter. You have like your turn base and everything with the 6 characters like right there. But they made it look so much better, even than the remake you're playing, where when your character does something, it'll actually like pull back and zoom out, and the characters have these nice animations for whatever they're doing. And it's real, just like actual RPG mechanics. They learn spells. It's not like Star Rail where everybody's got like 2 or 3 things that they do tops. It's just full. You pop it in and you are playing a wizardry game, and that looks great. It's the best looking wizardry game so far, with its own story and everything.
Neat. I didn't realize the Sky Oblivion thing was a real thing.
Oh yeah.
They're remaking Oblivion using basically modding Skyrim.
Yep. And it looks way better.
Cool. It does look good. Yeah.
There's another one, I don't know if it ever came out, that I was interested in. And I would actually re-download Skyrim if it was finished. But there was, I think, was it called Skywind? Maybe? It was they were doing a Morrowind remake in Skyrim as well. And that team was actually trying to like painstakingly make the mechanics of the older game work in it. Like, man, I'd be down for that. I just have not been following in a long time, so I don't know if it's still being made, if it ever got finished, but
yeah. I'm trying to see how it's called Skywind.
Yeah.
It says it's a total conversion mod. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Remaking Morrowind in the Skyrim Special Edition engine.
And both of these products are trying to actually give you the mechanics of the older games in it, instead of like just putting basically the the Dragonborn into that area and you have their skill trees. It's like, no, they want to give you the feats and character creation from the older game that they're modding into it.
I get no, there's been updates.
Oh, cool.
The last update was yesterday on Skywind. Crazy.
You have to go
But
back.
have they
and look
released
into
it
that.
yet?
I don't know.
Frequently asked questions. When is it going to be released?
That's the only way you'll get me to re-download Skyrim is when either of those two actually release, and then I'll go play through those games again.
Yeah. Very interesting.
But we are at the end of the show.
Oh my gosh, that was fast.
How the hell are you going to be able to go about to fly with the Skyrim engine? Okay, well, that's not going to be hard, because Skyrim was just made in a better version of the engines that the previous games were made in. That's why the conversion's actually not difficult. It's time-consuming, but they could probably just figure out to do it the same way it was done in the older versions of the creation engine. Because all that stuff still exists in the current, in the Skyrim version. Technically afterwards when they made, what's that, Starfall? Or what was the name of it? I can't remember.
What's the question?
The game they made after Skyrim. It was Star something. Starfield? Was that the name of it?
Starfield.
Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield.
Starfield is Creation Engine 2, which is kind of still like the old one, but they kind of remade it. So you can't guarantee that things are going to function exactly the same way. Like, you'd probably have to figure out how to do things from scratch, though. Obviously, flying works in that one because they have spaceships. But for Skyrim, it is like the final version of the original Creation Engine. So whatever made flying work in the older games is still in the engine. You just have to go in and do it.
Mm-hmm. It drives me nuts. Looks like both these projects are basically the same people. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, TESR, whatever that is. But like, they have no release date, no idea. They've been working on it for like 8 years. Oh, we're just finishing up some plants. See you in 2028.
Yeah.
Anyway, it does look cool. I didn't know about these.
Yeah. Well, if it says they remove flight for quest design reasons, like, yes, but they didn't actually remove flight. They just chose not to include it in the game. The mechanics for how flight worked before still exist. You would just plug and play it into the engine just like before. It was a design choice not to re-include it.
I mean, you could mod it to just
it's not
allow
hard.
you to fly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That might be the only way to get me to play it anymore as well. I keep starting to, and I'm like, I don't want to play this game. So, last thing I'll say, I'm confused now because there is a Lexar 1 terabyte. What do you call it? Micro SD
Express. I saw that.
Express that it says it is backwards compatible. That's way faster than any of the others. Like, there's like a 200 or a 160 megabytes per second one. And this one is like 900 megabytes per second, but it says, obviously it won't go that fast, but it says you can use it. Yeah. Compatible devices, Nintendo Switch and Switch 2.
Yeah.
Weird.
I don't know. Maybe people will find a way of just moving saves over that way. Like, maybe you'll be able to just move it over, but I just really foresee Nintendo, their way is going to be an additional unnecessary hurdle to jump through, because that's usually how Nintendo does things.
Well, yeah, and just the fact that it's so different apparently that the Switch games have to run in an emulator. Is that right? Did I read that?
I did not hear that.
I think I saw that Switch 1 games essentially are related. I could be wrong about that. I don't think so, because I think I saw that the hardware is just vastly different.
You know what they might
and
be doing? It might
So-
not be an emulator. They might be doing what they did
Or-
with one of their older systems, or two of their older systems, right? So the Wii operating system was built out of the GameCubes and literally had like a partition for the GameCube in it, which is why you could put GameCube games in and operate the GameCube menu. And they kind of did the same thing with the Wii U and the Wii, where there was a channel that was like a partitioned version of the Wii operating system for Wii games. Since it's made out of the Switch operating system, there's probably just a partition in it that is Switch, and that's how you run the Switch games. So it's probably not an emulator. It's literally just a part of the Switch operating system in there.
Maybe. I guess I misspoke. It's not an emulator. It's not a full-on emulator. I think some YouTube channel was saying it's a translator, basically. They have, because they have a set of instructions for Switch and a set of instructions for Switch 2, and they've built there is a layer in between where they can't just run Switch 1 games. There's some translation, which, big deal, as long as the hardware can still run it faster, great.
Yeah.
But it's all very confusing. You know what? It was actually a game developer who was talking about this.
Yeah, so it'll probably just be
his
functionally a Switch channel, like how there was a Wii channel for the Wii U. I bet that's
maybe.
probably just how it's going to work.
Either that, or it'll all just be seamless and just
Yeah.
look like it's all together. I don't know.
But anyway,
We'll find out in 2 months.
thanks for watching. Fizchozo in the chat specifically, since he was here, but also everybody who will be watching the VODs later. We're glad that you came. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with somebody else. And if you really... If you really enjoy the show, consider giving a donation to streamlabs.com/vomitoriumlive. And we will see you guys no later than Monday.
See ya.